Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله الأمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A lot of the times I get questions from brothers and sisters confusing the hadith that was narrated in the Sahih, where the Prophet ﷺ talks about whoever guides people to something that is good in Islam. And they confuse this with the definition of innovation. And they say that we have a lot of misconceptions. And among them is when the Prophet says whoever guides people to something that is good in Islam. And the word of the hadith is من سن سنة حسنة فله أجرها وأجر من عمل بها لا ينقص من أجورهم شيء إلى يوم القيامة. And it translates to whoever paves the way for a good sunnah, then Allah Azza wa Jal would reward him exactly to the same reward that he gives to those who follow him, and their rewards would not be deducted, would not be reduced by that until the Day of Judgment. So they say, if I do something that is new in Islam, if I teach a person and I make up a fabricated dua or dhikr and I spread it among the people, what's wrong in that? Well, this is what is known as an innovation. And an innovation is something fabricated, invented in Islam with the intention to worship Allah Azza wa Jal, that has no basis in the Quran or in the Sunnah or in the actions of the four guided and righteous caliphs of Islam. Brother Ali from Nigeria. Brother Ali.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening to you, Akhi.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for what you are doing. I have two questions.
Yes, bro.
My first question is that if, for example, the person is used to fasting on Mondays and Thursdays, can he also fast the 3 white nights,
Okay.
13, 14, and 15 together? And then maybe if it coincides with a Monday or a Thursday, then he, makes a niyyah for both on Monday and on the, only any of the 3 nights together.
Second question.
That's the first question. The second question is, is there any emphatic sunnah that, prohibits a person from sleeping after Salatul Subhi?
Is it
Any
what?
emphatic sunnah to that effect?
After
Any
Salah?
sunnah that prohibits a person from sleeping after the Fajr prayer?
Okay. I will answer your questions, Brother Ali. Brother Ali had two questions. The first one regarding a person who's used to fasting Mondays and Thursdays. And this is one of the beautiful sunnahs of our religion that the Prophet ﷺ instructed us to do. And if the 3 white days, which are the 13th, 14th, and 15th of every lunar month, if it coincides with a Monday or Thursday, so can he have the intention of fasting both because they are on the same day? And the answer is yes. So fasting the 3 white days can be in between. So it can be Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday comes. So the 15th coincides with Thursday. You fast that and Allah Azza wa Jal rewards you 2 rewards for that. It can be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it can be in between a Thursday and a Monday. So you fast these 4 these 5 days, and inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would accept that from you. His second question was regarding sleeping after Fajr, but I believe that we have Ibrahim from Nigeria.
My question is on the issue of
Akhi, turn down your TV set and listen to me. Speak to me through the phone only.
my question
Okay.
is based on the issue of Salat al-Fatih, the position in Islam. Because in Nigeria, there are so many people prefer to recite Salat al-Fatih on the Salat al-Ibrahimiyya that the Prophet recommended.
I know that you're talking about the Salat al-Ibrahimiyya, but when do you want to offer it?
Because they believe Salat al-Fatih was done in order to praise the Prophet and presented by one Sheikh Tijani.
I'm sorry, I'm unable to understand the question of Brother Ibrahim. Maybe he should call again with a better connection. Brother Ali was asking about the ruling on sleeping after Fajr prayer. Akhi, there isn't anything in the Sunnah that prohibits you from sleeping any time of the day or of the night. Anything that prohibits it, there isn't anything. So as long as you pray your 5 daily prayers on time, where Allah Azza wa Jal mandated it upon you, that is in the masjid, then you can sleep whenever you want. The only thing that is authentic is the hadith that was narrated in Bukhari and elsewhere, that the Prophet ﷺ did not like speaking after Isha, and he did not like sleeping between Maghrib and Isha. That is it. So the time that it is not recommended, it is makruh for you to sleep, is between Maghrib and Isha. And why is that? Because those who sleep between Maghrib and Isha either would miss Isha, if not, they would pray Isha on time, but then they would not be able to sleep until maybe after midnight, which is not normal. So the normal thing is that you sleep after Isha. However, the best time of the day is after Fajr. So those who want to recite the Quran, this time is a blessed time. Those who want to acquire knowledge, this time is a blessed time. Those who want to get the blessing of Allah Azza wa Jal in their trade, in their business, in their agriculture, in anything they're doing, then this is the blessed time. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ said that may Allah Azza wa Jal bless it for my ummah at the early times. بُورِكَ لِأُمَّتِي فِي بُكُورِهَا. So the earlier you start to work, the more blessing you get from Allah Azza wa Jal. But sleeping after Fajr, this is completely permissible. Brother Safwan from Kuwait, or Abu Safwan.
Assalamualaikum, Sheikh. How are you?
Hayyakallah akhi.
Okay, I have 3 questions. My first question is about askar. That these askar we have to say only after the farad prayer, or we have to say after each, like sunnah or nafil. The first question. My second question is about qasr. I'm from Canada. My family lives in Canada, but I'm working in Kuwait. Okay, so sometimes I go to visit my family. Sometimes my family comes to visit here in Kuwait to visit me or spend some time. So do we have to do initial 15 days or 5 days whatsoever this qasr, or what is the situation? Because I heard somewhere the Prophet ﷺ at the time of Makkah, he was in Makkah and he was 18 or 19 days. He did all the days, he was doing qasr and he dropped there. He was not fasting.
Okay.
So this is second question. And the third question is, I have problem with my knee, so while Umrah, can I have a kneecap because it has stitches of sewing on it, and you're not supposed to have any sewed clothes.
Again,
So
can you repeat? Can you
Yeah,
repeat the question, please?
Kneecap while offering Umrah.
You have a kneecap problem?
No, I have a problem with my knee, so while doing Umrah, can I wear kneecap?
Okay.
Because it has some stitches on it.
Okay. I will answer you.
Because you're not supposed to have any stitched cloth while or any stitched thing while you are offering Umrah.
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
In the condition.
I will answer your question. We have Abu Jawad from Jordan. Abu Jawad?
Yes, I'm there.
Yes, bro.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I have two questions.
Okay.
One is, what is the ruling of paying sadaqah to the family relative?
For paying the sadaqah to?
My relative, relation,
Okay.
brother, sister, cousin.
Okay. Second question?
Sadaqah. And the second question is, what is the correct way of, offering water after Isha? Water.
Al-witr.
Yes, after Salat Isha.
Okay. What is your concern? What is that exactly concerns you?
The correct procedure, because
Yes.
correct procedure is either 3 together or 2 and then 1.
Okay.
But I want to know the correct procedure.
Okay, I'll answer your question, inshallah. Abu Salim from Nigeria, and then afterwards, inshallah, we would hold the call so that we don't have a big backlog. Abu Salim, from the phone, please, turn down your TV set.
Hello? Hello?
Abu Salim,
Hello? Hello?
I think we have a problem.
Hello?
Abu Salim, hello.
Hello?
Well, I think we have a problem with the connection. Anyhow, we go to Abu Safwan, he's from Kuwait. The first question was, is the adhkar we know, astaghfirullah 3 times, Allahumma anta salam minka salam tabarakta dhal ikram, la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, and the whole 9 yards, saying 33 times subhanallah, alhamdulillah, Allahu akbar, la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, etc., ayat al-kursi. We say these adhkar only after the mandatory obligatory prayer, the 5 daily prayers, or can we say it after the sunnah prayers as well, the voluntary sunnah prayers? The answer is no. These are only to be said after the mandatory 5 daily prayers, because this is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and we have no evidence to support saying it afterwards. So if we don't have an evidence, we stop, we refrain. Why? Isn't it khair? And the more we do khair, it's good? No, not always. We have a saying in Arabic, زِيَادَ الْخَيْرِ خَيْرين. Whenever you increase goodness, this is twice the reward. So no, this is not always true. When we pray 3 rak'ahs of Maghrib, this is khair. If you add 1 more rak'ah, because what the heck? No, this is evil. This is not khair anymore. It's not good. So in this sense, you only restrict these adhkar for the 5 daily prayers. His second question was about shortening prayer. He works in Kuwait, and his family works in Canada. Whenever you are in Kuwait, you should pray the prayer of a residing person, because now you're residing. Whenever you travel, during the distance, you may shorten prayers. And you may combine prayers. Once you reach your Halifax or Montreal or Quebec, once you reach your city, then you have to pray the normal prayer. You cannot shorten, you cannot join unless you have a legitimate reason for joining. Shortening is over the minute you reach your hometown. Now, when you go back to Kuwait, due to the fact that you have a house, if you go back to the Kuwait, until you feel that you're settled, you may shorten prayer and combine them when necessary. But usually those who travel off and on, they consider both cities a place of residing, because now they have a house in Kuwait and they're residing, and they feel that they are settled, and therefore okay. So you have to do as mentioned before. Regarding your family, when your wife and kids come to Kuwait, they shorten the prayer. Now, do they restrict their shortening to the prayer of 4 days, as some of the scholars say? The most authentic opinion is not. As long as they are not settled, they may shorten their prayer for a week, for 2, for 3, for 4 weeks, regardless. But usually after 4 weeks, people are settled, they know the times of the prayer, they know everything that is around them, they're not traveling, they're not unsettled. So I presume that 3-4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks would be more than enough. We have Nusayba. I don't know what country she's calling from. Nusayba?
I'm from Mauritius.
Yes?
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Actually, I've got 2 questions.
Okay.
The first one is, if a person has just asked Makkah and he's still in the state of Ihram, yeah? But he has not yet performed Umrah. Do you think that that person can perform 12 prayers with the Jama'ah in the Masjid of Al-Haram?
Are you asking, is it permissible for him? Is it permissible for him to perform salat before making Umrah?
Yeah.
Okay. Second question?
That's my first question. And secondly, I would like to inquire about praying Nafilah in Rawda al-Jannah and Hakim after praying Asr prayers.
Praying a Nafilah where?
In Rawda?
In
Medina or Hakim?
In Rawda al-Medina.
Yeah, or Hakim in Mecca.
Okay. That's all?
Yes.
Okay. We have Brother Wasim from Riyadh. Wasim from Saudi Arabia.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, I have 3 questions, please.
Okay.
You can pay zakat to your brother who is blind. My first question is, I can pay zakat to my brother who is blind?
Who is what?
Blind, who cannot see.
Okay.
Another thing, when we go to Umrah, at the time there is Asr time. After Asr prayer, so after we perform the Umrah, we have to pray 2 rakat in front of Maqam Ibrahim. Is it permissible to pray that time? Because they say that there is no salah after Asr.
Okay. Third question?
Number 3, my third question is, sir, we have some problem, like I make wudu afterwards, I have some urine drop. This is like continuous, not after, if this is continuous, is it permissible to pray like that only? I make wudu again, sometimes I have like this. Is it waswasa or from shaitan, I don't know.
Is it 24 hours 7 dropping, or only after, or when you make wudu?
No, after I pass the urine, it drops.
Yes, for a few minutes and it stops.
Properly again, I have a doubt, it drops. Then after performing wudu, also I have a doubt that there is something.
I will answer your question, inshallah.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. Assalamu alaikum.
Amino from Nigeria, and this is the last question, inshallah, before we get to answer the previous questions. Yes, brother. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I have a question, one question.
Okay.
Concerning for the Subhi prayer, is it allowed to pray with the family, or we have to pray in the masjid?
Okay.
Yeah. So I want to know which one is more important, to pray in the masjid or to pray with the family.
How far is the message from your house?
Not really far, just like 2 minutes walking distance.
Okay, I'll answer the question.
Just like 2 minutes walking distance.
Okay, I'll answer the question, Brother Aminu. We go back to the questions that we have, and I hope that you stop the questions. Abu Safwan was asking that is it permissible to wear a kneecap because he has a problem when making Umrah? His concern is with the stitches. And a kneecap is not considered to be baranis, it is not considered to be sarawilat, it is not considered to be a turban, it's not considered to be a qamis, it's not considered to be a shoe or a socks. And therefore, it is permissible for him to wrap something down his knee so that it would protect it. That is a kneecap. What is not permissible for you is to wear what is considered to be clothes, such as shirts, underwears, trousers, a jacket, a turban, a kufi, a head, well, it's not a headscarf, but people call it a headscarf. Headscarf are for women. All of these are forbidden for a muhrim to wear. Wearing a kneecap is, inshallah, permissible. Abu Jawad is asking a similar question to Brother Wasim regarding giving sadaqah to relatives. It is permissible to give sadaqah to relatives, even to your father, to your mother, to your son, but zakat is different. See, zakat cannot be given except to those who you will not inherit. So, can I give my zakat to my father? No, I will inherit him. Can I give it to my son? No, I will inherit him if he dies. Can I give it to my mother? No. Can I give it to my brother? Look. Do I have a son? Yes, I have a son. This means that if I die, my son will take everything and my brother will not take anything. So I can give him zakat. Does he have a son? Yes, he has a son. Then I will not inherit anything from him. I can give him the zakat if he's needy. And this is why, Brother Wasim, when you say, can I give zakat to my blind brother? Blindness is not a reason for giving zakat. There are people who are blind and they are wealthy. They're rich. So you cannot give them zakat just because they're blind. You cannot give them zakat because they're orphaned. An orphan might inherit billions, so I still give him zakat? No. The verse number 60 in chapter 9 that mentions the 8 category of zakat recipients does not include a blind person. It has to be faqir or miskin, a poor person or a needy person. And these are the recipients of zakat. So Brother Wasim, if your brother is needy and poor, and you or him cannot inherit each other, in this case you can give him zakat. No, Brother Abu Jawad is saying, so do I get rewarded if I give sadaqah to my relatives? Yes, if they're needy, you get the reward doubled. One, for the charity itself, and secondly, for connecting to the next of kin and helping your relatives. So the first channel you look to pay your sadaqah, your charity, is your loved ones, your close ones, your relatives. It's a shame that you give someone who's far away in a distant country while your cousin is in need of money to pay the bills of the hospital or the medication. Okay, the people of Emirates can wait for a while until I just get through these questions. The phone call will not cost them a lot, inshallah. Brother Abu Jawad is asking about al-witr after Isha. What's the format? Is it 3, 1 go, or is it 2 plus 1? It's up to you. All is sunnah. If you pray 2 rak'ahs and offer salam, and then pray 1 rak'ah solo, and you offer salam, this is sunnah. If you pray the 3 rak'ah in 1 go, providing you do not resemble it to Maghrib. So you pray the first rak'ah and you stand up. You pray the second rak'ah and you stand up. You pray the third rak'ah and you sit down for tashahhud and you conclude your prayer. So it's not like Maghrib where you sit in the second rak'ah. No, you stand up. This is also permissible and it's part of the sunnah. To do it as Maghrib, as in the Hanafi madhab, this is wrong. And it is against the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. We'll take Brother Muhammad's call from the UAE.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته شيخ.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته أخي.
جزاكم الله خيرا في الدنيا والآخرة.
آمين وأنتم كذلك and all our viewers.
The question was, I have been struggling a lot lately. After 9th of Rabiul Awwal, I suddenly changed the channel and it went to FEDAC channel. And there was a person called himself Sayyid Ali Nabawi, and he accused Shaykhain and Hazrat Osman radiallahu anhum ajmain that they are not Muslims. And he challenged all Ahl Sunnah, which since then I have lost my sleep. I'm really struggling a lot. What to do with this and how to overcome this matter.
You saw this on a TV or someone challenged you personally?
No, it is on TV. It was on TV, FEDAC, and the guy name was Sayyid Ali Nabawi. He had a lecture, and the lecture was called Al-Ummar fi Nar, which really struck me a lot. Okay. Any more question? Yeah, no, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Sheikh.
Uzak ya akhi. Brother Radwan from, I don't know which one. Let's take this one. From the Emirates?
Yes, Assalamu alaikum.
Salamullah.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Rizwan from Dubai.
Yes, wa alaikum salam, akhi.
How are you?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah, jazakallah khair. What can I do for you?
Yeah, I have two questions.
Okay.
The first question is, there are some people they call in the care of Allah and Rasul.
They call what?
Allah and Rasul. Means if you are going outside, they are telling that, okay, we'll take in the care of Allah and Rasul. So is it permissible to say Allah and Rasul or only Allah?
They're praying to Allah and Rasul?
No, they're in the care of Allah and Rasul.
They just mentioned. They just mentioned Allah and Rasul.
Yeah.
Okay. Second question.
And second question, in shopping mall, there is a raffle always, raffle draw. Suppose if you go and purchase some more than 250 grams, they give one ticket and you are putting in that box and there is a draw. So is it halal or haram?
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
Thank you. Jazakallah.
Ya Buya, okay. Hafsa from Saudi Arabia. Hafsa from Saudi Arabia.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I want to ask you if we nullify our wudu in Jamaat, maybe in Haram or something, like this big Jamaat, if we nullify our wudu, so what can we do in the Jamaat?
While the prayer is ongoing?
Yeah, when the prayer is going on.
Okay, I will answer the question, inshallah.
Okay, Jazakallah khair.
Jazakum. I hope that the control stops receiving calls until I finish at least 45 or 75 of what I have. Nusayba asked about the prayer before Umrah. If a person comes to Al-Haram, in the state of Ihram, and a lot of the people ask about this question. When I come from India, from Egypt, from America, wearing my ihram, I made my ihram from the miqat, is it a must that I perform Umrah immediately? The answer is no. You can come to Jeddah and spend 2 days, 3 days while wearing your ihram, having a bath, changing your ihram, washing it, eating, speaking, doing your normal things. If you go to Mecca, you put your luggage in your hotel room and you would like to crash for the night, and then do your Umrah the following day, this is completely permissible. And hence, if you go to the Haram and pray your prayers, this is permissible before your Umrah, but it is not at all advisable to leave the Haram while you are in the state of Ihram, not doing your Umrah. And she's asking if I'm in the Rawdah, and I presume that she's referring to the Rawdah which is in Medina, which is the area between the pulpit of the Prophet ﷺ and his house. This is known as the Rawdah. So, and there isn't any Rawdah in Mecca, by the way. So she's asking, this is a blessed place. Is it permissible for me to offer voluntary prayers after Asr? And the answer is no. The only voluntary prayer you're allowed to pray, whether in the Rawdah or anywhere else, in any masjid or any place, if you have prayed Asr, the only 2 rak'ahs you're allowed to pray are the salutation or tahiyyat al-masjid. The one that you cannot sit until you offer them when you enter a masjid. Wasim is asking about the zakat to his blind brother, and we've answered this. He's asking also a similar question to Nusayba, and that is, if I finish my Umrah, let me rephrase that. If I finish my Tawaf, we know that it is Sunnah that I go behind Maqam Ibrahim and I offer 2 rak'ahs Sunnah. So if I do this after Asr, would I be praying in the time of restriction? Because I've prayed Asr, so how can I pray and the sun had not set yet? The answer is, these 2 rak'ahs have a reason. They're not general voluntary prayers. They have a specific reason, and it is part of the Sunnah. They can be prayed any time of the day and night. Now, and his third question, he's asking about a problem he's facing from shaitan, that after urinating, he still feels that there are few drops coming, and this is annoying him. First of all, you're one of two. Either you have a 24/7 problem, and this calls for you to go to the physician and ask him, because this is something that is physical. It's an illness that you keep on urinating unintentionally and without wanting to. These drops and dripping. The second situation is that if a person only gets this after urinating, this means that he is rushing things. So what about the feeling he gets? This is from shaitan. He is trying, and this is part of his plan, to destroy your iman, to destroy your prayer, to destroy your life, by his whispering to you that maybe there is a drop, let me check. And you go and check, and maybe you squeeze yourself, and maybe put some tissues, and you every half an hour you check, am I dripping or not? This is all from shaitan. What to do? I get this feeling, I don't want my prayer to be nullified. I'll tell you what to do. When you urinate in calmness and relax. And after you finish, don't squeeze yourself, don't do anything that is not normal. Just let it be. After you finish, just for half a minute or a minute, pour some water and sprinkle your underwear with water as well. And leave. And whatever feeling you get, say that this is from the water that I sprinkled in my underwear. After 2-3 days, it's gone. This is from shaitan. Don't check, don't burden yourself. If you do, you're going to destroy your life. Amina from Nigeria, he's asking a very good question. What's best for me to do, to pray fard prayer congregation with the congregation in the masjid, or to pray it with my family and gather my wife and children, maybe my parents, and pray together as a jama'ah? Definitely, akhi, as a male, as a man, you must pray in the masjid. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, to the blind man who came to him, and the hadith is in Sahih Imam Muslim, the blind man said, Prophet of Allah, I'm blind, and I don't have a suitable guide to take me to the masjid. And at night, it's scary, and there are insects and rodents and snakes, etc. So is it possible that I pray in the house? The Prophet said, yes. And then, as the man was leaving, he called him back. And he said, what did you say? And the man repeated his query and request. And the Prophet asked him one specific question. Do you hear the adhan? The man said, yes. And the Prophet said, you have to respond. You have to pray with the congregation. So you will be sinful. Your prayer is valid with your family, but you will be sinful for not attending the prayer to pray in the masjid. And my people are telling me we have a short break. Stay tuned, inshallah, we'll be right back.
The main concepts of Islamic economics, how is it different from the Western theories?
And the beauty about Islam is not that it just came as a religion to perfect the relationship of the servant of Allah with Allah, but also it came to perfect the relationship of the servant of Allah with others. The beauty about Islam comes and brings the interest of the public and the interest of the individual together.
How is Islamic banking different from the traditional banking system?
The concept of riba is that I lend you money, I give you a loan, in return they give me back that loan with an extra at the top.
The idea of the stock market itself is halal or haram.
So these are the main conditions that the scholars put with regards of the share market.
Let's talk. So this is something that you have to point out to them in the Bible.
Something which is, I think, very rarely needed by the youth, which is staying firm on the truth.
This is just one of the greatest examples for me of how to control your anger.
Within the framework of being the cleanest religion, the cleanest jurisprudence, and in the meantime, the kindest religion to animals.
Watch Let's Talk with Khalil Amanet as he interviews guests and discusses a variety of topics, everything from youth issues to religious issues. Join us here on Huda TV.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Brother Muhammad from the Emirates was telling us about a horrible incident he saw on TV, and he saw a program where an infidel, a kafir, on the occasion of Mawlid was saying that Umar and Uthman are in hell. You want me to respond to this? Any person who claims that Abu Bakr, Umar, or Uthman, or Aisha, may Allah be pleased with them, are kafir, he is a kafir. Even if he prays in the haram next to the Kaaba, and he fasts not only Ramadan, even Sha'ban as well, and he performs 2 Hajj a year. I don't know how this is going to happen, but Akhi, these are infidels, these are disbelievers. No matter how long their beads are or how big their turbans are, they are kafir. So don't even pay attention to this. Don't watch their channels, these innovators or these disbelievers or these sects. They're kafir. By spending time watching them, you're sinful. And if you hear them say these kufr and you're unable to respond, you're sharing the sin with them. So don't even bother to answer these kuffar, and do not bother to respond to them. Why? Because imagine if every dog that barks and I throw a stone at him, stone is going to be more precious than gold. There are so many dogs. They keep on barking, and they are blinded by the light of Islam. They're blinded by the light of the Quran and the Sunnah. Do I spend my time, waste my time, explaining to them? They don't want to understand. They are deviant. So forget about them. Brother Ridwan is saying, is it permissible to say Allah wa Rasul? Well, this depends. There are many incidents in the hadith that we can say that man ata' Allah wa Rasul, whoever obeys Allah and Rasul. This is okay. In some incidents, when you say ma sha Allahu wa sha Rasul, and this is not permissible. And that is why when someone said to the Prophet ma sha Allahu wa shi't, he said, he was outraged. He said, did you make me similar and close and I don't know what the word in English is, nid. Anyhow, do you make me similar and close to Allah Azza wa Jal? Say whatever Allah Azza wa Jal wishes, whatever Allah Azza wa Jal wills. So this is a rhetorical fault that we should avoid. But to say generally Allah wa Rasul, yes. Now, nowadays people make a mistake. When someone comes to my house and I say Allah wa Rasul hayyik, that may Allah Azza wa Jal and the Prophet give you welcoming. And this is wrong. The Prophet has nothing to do with this. Or when people are asked, what's the ruling on so and so, and I say Allahu wa Rasuluhu a'lam, Allah and the Prophet know best. This is wrong. The Prophet is not there anymore, so you only say Allah Azza wa Jal. He's asking about going to malls, and we have a lot of malls in Dubai, and sometimes they have a draw. They have something like, if you buy 350 dirhams, we give you coupons. And there will be a draw, and you may win a Porsche or a Ferrari or whatever. So what's the ruling on that? It depends on your intention. If you go to that mall so that you would be part of that draw, then this is haram, and this is falls under the ruling of maisir and lottery, gambling, etc. But if you accidentally go to that mall to buy a specific thing that is only found in that mall, or it's the most convenient because it's the closest to you, and you buy it not with the intention to win, but to get that product, and you get the coupon as a bonus, then this is permissible, inshallah. Okay, we have a Kiari from Nigeria.
Assalamu alaikum, ya Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Listen to me.
My question is here in Nigeria,
okay.
Especially here in Maiduguri, Borno State, we are having problem that politics participation in democracy is poor, that we should not participate. And actually, I'm a politician. I am in politics, and I am in the majority party, that is PDP, ruled by the controlled by the Nigerian Christians. Our candidates always used to be Christian. And it is that we Muslims all should leave PDP and go to another Muslim political party, or we should remain in PDP, though there are also Muslims in the party, but all the parties contain the good and the bad. And here, this ruling party, if all Muslims or the good ones leave the party, the bad one, especially the Christians, will occupy, will dominate the party, will be in the decision making, and there are no free and fair elections. We want to be there for, to represent the good ones, at least to chip in the little good inside. And secondly, as a politician in Nigeria, especially in Borno, we are facing a terrible situation that we are not Muslim.
Okay, I think I get your question, Brother Kinari. I will try to address this issue to the best of my knowledge. Sister Selma from the Emirates.
All right.
Okay, Sister Selma from the Emirates.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. What's your question, Sister Selma?
Yeah, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
How are you, sir? Glad to hear you.
Alhamdulillah, jazakallah khair.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and reward you for your kindness and your time, what you give it to us.
Ameen, and you too.
Sheikh, actually, I have 3 questions.
Okay.
And the first question, I am a new converted to Islam.
Okay.
I am from Europe and I live in United Arab Emirates, and I have 2 sons.
Okay.
One is 10 years, one is 11 years old. We live alone, and I would like to pray together with them for a better supervision. If nobody can go with them out, I am the only one, and in Ramadan we can be together in masjid, but during the year the masjid are closed usually here where we live. This is one of the questions. If you can explain us how we should protect ourselves, who should be the imam who has to read the Quran, and how we can pray together in a daily 5 prayers.
And they're Muslims, they're boys, huh?
Alhamdulillah, all of us, we are Muslim, yes.
And they are boys, 11 and 12 years old.
Boys, yes. One has 10 years, one is 11.
Okay, second question?
Second question, I would like to know if I have any opportunity to put them in an Islamic school.
Okay.
And the third question, I would like to know Salat al-Asr. We have been prayed in my country. I saw the Muslims, Salat al-Asr, they pray 4 ruk'ah before Fard. It is permissible or no?
Shortening prayers, you mean? Qasr?
No. Before al-Asr,
okay,
they have been praying 4 ruk'ah, normal, before Fard. And they have told me, because this is the company of the Prophet ﷺ,
okay,
they have prayed, and Rasulullah ﷺ didn't stop them. I would like to know if it's true or not,
okay,
and we can complete our deen.
Okay, I will answer your questions, inshallah. Okay, Sister Alicia from the Emirates, again.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamtullah.
I have 2 questions, please.
Okay.
The first, when you enter Ihram, is it necessary to pray 2 rak'ah? And if so, do we offer that on the aeroplane? I'll be traveling from UAE, obviously. Or do you offer that in Masjid al-Aisha? I was told once that you offered it Masjid al-Aisha.
Okay.
To the Haram. And the second question is, I know in Ihram a woman shouldn't wear niqab.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it permissible for a woman to cover her face with if she is in Ihram and if she wants to cover her face from the other men around?
Okay, I'll answer your questions, inshallah.
Jazakallah.
Sister Hafsa is asking about nullifying the prayer while praying. And I believe that she is concerned when she is among the congregation. Because if a person nullifies his wudu while praying in his home on his own, you simply just leave and go and renew your wudu, make a new wudu. But when you are in the middle of 100 people, for example, and you are in the third rak'ah or in the second rak'ah, and everybody's praying, and all of a sudden, something happens. So what to do? Well, there is a hadith where the Prophet tells us ﷺ, that if this happens, a person should put his hand over his nose as if he's bleeding. And he should interrupt the rows and go out of the masjid to perform wudu. You're not allowed by any chance to continue and to fake it as if you're praying, to pretend that you're praying, because you're not praying. Who are you fooling? Allah Azza wa Jal? Allah does not accept your prayer unless you are in the state of wudu. So you're actually lying to the people while you know that Allah knows that you are not in wudu, so you have to leave the prayer if you are in congregation. Brother Kanari is asking about a long question, and if I understand his question, he's asking about what's happening in Nigeria and elsewhere, where you do not have Muslim parties to vote for. And the ruling party is mixed between Muslims and non-Muslims. And also the other parties include Muslims and non-Muslims. And he's saying that there is no democracy. The votes are rigged usually, and they're tampered with. So he's asking what to do. If we abandon these political parties, they will be overwhelming and they will control the country. Well, this is everywhere. Whenever there are politics, there are corruption. And rarely you will find that in Muslim countries you don't have this, unfortunately. But to solve this problem, we have a dilemma, we have a problem. So what to do? It is not permissible for us as Muslims to contribute in such elections and such so-called democratic process, because this goes against Islam. And the regulations and rules they're applying in that country is against Islam. They're not applying the Sharia. And they are applying the French or the English laws, which goes against the Quran and Sunnah. So as Muslims, we're not entitled, we're not permitted to enter such elections. But, and this is a very big question, if we don't, then this would increase in our isolation from the nation, though we are the majority, and we should have the supreme power there. But we have to do this in a very diplomatic, in a very peaceful fashion, where we illustrate the power of the majority, if this is democracy they're asking about. So it is permissible to join the best. You have to evaluate all these parties, and you have to evaluate their aims and targets and their projects to come. And you join the best of them, in the sense that the best of them to Islam and the Muslims. And you try your level best to apply your Islamic beliefs into it, and to avoid anything that clashes with Islam, with the Quran, or with the Sunnah. And let's hope by uplifting the Muslims and putting awareness into them that something that is peaceful would take place, as it's happening everywhere in the world with the grace of Allah. Avoid violence, avoid crimes, avoid bloodshed, avoid chaos and anarchy, because all of this does not relate to Islam. You have to play by their rules, and you have to be smart so that nothing tarnishes the reputation of the Muslims and Islam. Okay, we have Ibrahim from Nigeria.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Wa alaikum assalam.
I have a question.
Okay.
And the question is, what is the appropriate time to recite al-Qunut? Is it before going for ruku or after coming from ruku?
Okay, I'll answer your question. I'll answer your question. Kulthum from Nigeria as well. Okay. This is Brother Kanadi. Salma from the Emirates had a number of questions. The first question is that she is a revert, alhamdulillah, and she has 2 sons. May Allah bless them and make them imams of Islam and increase their knowledge of Quran and Sunnah and make them steadfast on this beautiful religion. She's asking, is it permissible for us to pray in our houses? The answer is, the best scenario for them is to pray in the masjid. because they're male and they are, mashallah, old enough. So if you feel that they're mature, mashallah, and the masjid is close by, there's nothing for you to fear, mashallah, Dubai is a safe place to be in, alhamdulillah, and no one would harass them. You have to train them to pray all 5 prayers in the masjid. This is the ideal thing. Otherwise, they will not become practicing Muslims. Even if they pray 5 times a day in the house, this is not what Allah wants us to do. Allah wants us to fill the masjids everywhere in the world with worshippers. Night prayer is different. You can pray with them night prayer, and the most one of them who recites or memorizes the Quran should lead the prayer, and there's no problem of them exchanging. She's asking about putting them in an Islamic school. Unfortunately, I am not well acquainted with Dubai and whether they have an Islamic school or not. I know that there are, inshallah, coming projects to establish Islamic schools that teaches on the same level of international schools found, that teaches Islam, teaches English, teaches computer, teaches mathematics, and everything on a very high level. This would hopefully materialize soon. As for her last question, which is the 4 rak'ahs before Al-Asr, there are hadiths that support this, and it is recommended to pray 4 rak'ahs before Asr. However, these are not the highly recommended prayers that the Prophet used to offer, the voluntary prayers. The highly recommended ones, or Sunan al-Mu'akkada, or al-Rawatib, they are 12. 2 before Fajr, 4 before Dhuhr, 2 after Dhuhr, 2 after Maghrib, and 2 after Isha. These are the 12 rak'ahs. So if you pray these 4 rak'ahs before Asr, this is good. If you don't, this is also okay. Alicia, she's asking about the 2 rak'ahs of Ihram. She's coming from Dubai, and she says that we wear Ihram and we have the intention after wearing the Ihram while we are on the plane. So do we offer 2 rak'ahs and then make Ihram? Is there a specific prayer for Ihram? The answer is no. There is not a specific prayer for Ihram to make your intention. But the sunnah is to make your intention after a prayer. So if you prayed Asr and then you made your intention of Ihram, you have made the sunnah. If you prayed Maghrib, and after praying Maghrib of half an hour you washed and showered, or you were on the plane and then you prayed the 2 rak'ahs, well, actually you can't pray the 2 rak'ahs, because when you're traveling you don't pray the sunnah of Dhuhr, Maghrib, or Isha. The Prophet never prayed it. So usually say if there is a prayer that you're praying, yes, you make your intention of Ihram afterwards. This is the sunnah. If there isn't, some scholars say that it is recommended that you go and perform ablution, and afterwards pray 2 rak'ahs of ablution, the one that Bilal used to always pray. May Allah be pleased with him, and the Prophet ﷺ approved it. And after you pray these 2 rak'ahs, make your intention for Ihram. Otherwise, you can make your Ihram without praying at all. It has nothing to affect your Ihram, insha'Allah. And her second question is that we know that a woman is not allowed in the state of Ihram to wear the niqab. And you know the niqab is the cover of the face that has an opening for your eyes. This is niqab. So she's saying that, okay, what to do then? And the answer is very easy. Cover your face with a layer or 2 or 3, depending on your ability to see through that. And this is when there is the presence of non-mahram males around you. If you're in your room, take off that veil. But if you are in the airplane, if you are walking to the haram, if you're making your tawaf or sa'i, and there are men all over you, around you that is, then you should cover your face with a layer or 2, but not with anything that has an opening to it. The last question of Ibrahim from Nigeria, he's asking, what is the best time for qunut? Is it before ruku'? That is after I finish my قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت? Or should I make ruku' and then سمع الله لمن حمده and then I say اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت? Both is correct. Both is correct, and you can do both, and there is no problem in that, inshallah, none whatsoever. However, the majority do it after ruku', so that people would not mix the salat or the Quran with the dua. And unfortunately, a lot of the imams nowadays, when they make dua of qunut, they make it sound exactly like the Quran. And this is wrong. It should be recited normally, like Allahumma hdini fi man hadayt wa afini fi man afayt. But when you try to put melody into it, like the Quran, Allahumma hadina fi man hadayt. The people who don't know Arabic said, mashallah, this is Quran. I never heard this ayah before. No, this is not. So it should not be similar to the Quran, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Do we have any calls? Okay, unfortunately this is all the time we have for tonight's program. Until we meet you inshallah next time, I leave you in Allah's guarding and Allah's safety. Fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance and in your deeds.